Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'm taking on a fun challenge, building a high quality end grain cutting board using only affordable basic tools. As you can see, for this build I'm using walnut and oak. I'll also be keeping track of the cost and the time it takes to build this board, and I'll share all of that with you at the end of the video. After cutting the pieces down to size, I start playing around with the boards, rearranging them until I get the basic pattern that I wanna go with. I've also got a couple of lighter walnut pieces from near the bark, and since they've just been laying around at the shop, I'm adding them for some extra contrast. Now, before moving to the next step and gluing everything up together, I cut everything into an even smaller pieces with different thicknesses to create an even more vibrant pattern. Once I finish with cutting, I mix the pieces up again, keeping the light oak in the middle and the dark walnut out on the edges. Since I'm working with a small budget-friendly planer that's only 20 cm wide, I glue the boards up into two sections first, run them through the planer and then join them together into one whole panel. And of course I messed up the alignments, but it's not a big deal, just a little extra work and it's fixed. The tricky part is not to dig into the board while hand planing, so I have to be extra careful about that. Mistakes like this are annoying, but they are actually super common in woodworking, at least in my shop, and I usually just call them character, but for this project there is no really room for that kind of character, so I am going to have to fix it and make it nice and smooth. After I finish the first round of sanding, I sprayed the entire board with water. This makes the wood fibers swell and stand up, basically raising the grain. Once the wood dries, I sand it down again, which knocks those fibers back down and gives you a super smooth, even surface. And finally, the best part of this project, finishing the board. Time to give it some love with oil and wax. I'm using food grade mineral oil, and there is a lot of ways people do this. The ideal method is just to dunk the whole board into the oil so it soaks all the way through. But since I don't have a container big enough, I'm going to apply the oil little by little, keeping at it until the board isn't absorbing anymore. After that, I'm going to let the board sit overnight so the oil can really soak in before I move up to the finishing wax. I really wanted to give this board some extra love, so I made my own cutting board butter, finishing wax for cutting boards. It is a mix of beeswax and mineral oil, about 4 parts oil to 1 part beeswax. And of course I used locally sourced homemade beeswax to keep it natural. I spread the beeswax all over the board, rubbing it in very well so it gets into all the pores, and then I let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes before taking a clean cloth and wipe off the excess. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love the contrast and I'm so glad I included those two lighter walnut pieces. They really pop and add an extra dimension where the light oak meets the dark walnut. If you enjoyed this project too, or even if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop a comment, hit a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.